Good morning, beloveds. Occasionally, I am unabashedly a geek, and today is one of those days that I am unabashedly a geek because it's Towel Day, which makes everybody go, wait, what? There is an author called Douglas Adams, and he wrote a series of books called The Hitchhiker's. Well, he wrote a trilogy of 5 books called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And yes, I know what I said. And one of his favorite quotes for most people, especially writers, is he loves deadlines. He loves the sound they make as they go whooshing by. So it is Happy Towel Day. Do you know where your towel is? Because if you've got your towel, then you can do anything. And he's right. He's right. If you've got your towel, you can do anything. So, if you've never read Douglas Adams, I commend him to you. When I worked in the bookstore out at the Renaissance Festival that our center owned, that was one of the things I would, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And occasionally people would ask really ridiculous questions. Why is the sky blue? What makes rainbows? How do they make Skittles? And anytime they asked just a completely ridiculous question, my answer was always 42. And if they did not know what 42 was, then I ordered them out of the bookstore. And told them they needed to go read this book. So, it's the little things. So, if you have not read the book, please, I commend Douglas Adams to you. He's done more than just The Hitchhiker's Guide, and he was one of the authors that was definitely taken too soon. But his comment, he was British, and like a lot of British authors, he had something to say about the world. And he was funny. But it is May 25th, and our title is really, really, really long today. Every negative thought or condition is erased from my experience, and I walk in the joy of ever-increasing good. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and shew him my salvation. And that is Psalm 91, 15 and 16. This passage contains a great promise, not one of something that is not one that is to transpire in the future, but rather a good that shall be transpiring in the present moment in which we live, right now and right here. Therefore, we should accept this promise and its fulfillment. I now accept this promise in its fulfillment. I do believe that every good thing necessary to my success already belongs to the kingdom of God, which I know is at hand. I am expecting good to happen. I anticipate success. I believe that the divine intelligence guides me into happiness and wholeness, because I know that God is happy and whole. Therefore, I know that I am living right now in the spirit of wholeness and happiness. I am looking through the eyes of happiness at the presence of wholeness and accepting it. I accept that God is love, and knowing that God is in all people, I meet this love which is everywhere. Therefore, I love and I am loved. Knowing that God is the great giver, I accept his gift and do myself become a giver to life. All I have to give and all that God has, I receive. The kingdom of God is at hand today. I enter into it with joy. This kingdom contains all that belongs to the life of good. It contains all people and all things. Forever the life of this kingdom flows through me in happiness, in peace, and in love. which I'm reminded of what could go right. Because so often we are focused on what could go wrong. And there is nothing wrong with planning for, but the fact that we so rarely focus on what could go right. We don't anticipate the joy. And that's what Ernest is saying. It's like we spend too much time focused on the negative. So he's saying, focus on the good. And that's exactly what Science Mind teaches, is to focus on the solution. Not to focus on the problem, to focus on the solution. To focus on the good, to focus on the positive, to focus on... It's not that we don't acknowledge that there's work to do. It's not that we don't acknowledge that sometimes conditions are pretty, that's just not where our attention goes, and that's not where our power goes. Our attention and our power is on making it better. So yes, things can get a little crazy. Things can get a little chaos. Things can go a little wrong. And we will work with that. We will work through that. But what we are going to focus on is what is good, what is right, what is the solution, and we are going to focus on the positive. We are going to focus on the kingdom of heaven, because the idea is heaven and hell are states of consciousness. They're not places. They exist right here, right now. You can absolutely be in hell right here, right now, just like you can be in heaven right here, right now. And everything you need to get yourself out of your hell is already here. What you have to do is turn the other cheek and focus on what is going to get you out. And if you aren't necessarily in hell but aren't necessarily in heaven, that's the same thing. You got to start looking for the good. Emma says look for the good and praise it. Because the more you look for, the more you see. And the more you see, the more there is. Because the more you focus on the good, it has a tendency to multiply itself. So what could go right? What could go right? Every negative thought or condition is erased from my experience, and I walk in the joy of ever-increasing good. The only way to do that is to focus on the good, look for the good, work on the good, work in the good. And the negative will naturally fall away. It's like you don't have to do anything to make the negative go away other than work in the good. And the negative will naturally drop off. All right, I'm not familiar with this psalm, and I do not care for one of that last lines. So, he shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Okay, so this is God talking to us. You will call upon me, and I will answer you. I will be with you in trouble. I will deliver you and honor you. With long life will I satisfy you, and I will show you my salvation. That's God talking to us. That's why Ernest says this passage contains a great promise. Not one of something that is to transpire in the future, but rather a good that should be transpiring in the present moment in which we live, right now and right here. Time doesn't mean anything to God, because God is not bound by time. Spirit is not bound by time. We are temporarily bound by time. Therefore, we should accept this promise and its fulfillment, because time means nothing to spirit. Time means nothing to God. Time means nothing to any word you want to use for that spirit. Which is why the promise is now. Not next week, not next year, not in 20 years. It's now. I now accept this promise in its fullness. I do believe that every good thing necessary to my success already belongs to the kingdom of God, which I know is at hand. So, and that's the cool thing about spirit is everything that has existed, everything that exists, and everything that could exist already exists in idea. It already exists in idea. So it's already there. And sometimes what it takes is moving us moving in the direction that brings it into form. It takes belief on our part. I am expecting good to happen. I anticipate success. I believe that the divine intelligence guides me into happiness and wholeness. Now, why would I believe that the divine intelligence would guide me into happiness and wholeness? Because I know that God is happy and whole. Those are qualities of God. Why would God lead me into something that is not God? No, God is going to lead me into God's own nature. And God's nature is happy and whole. I am looking through the eyes... Oh, wait, I skipped a line. Therefore, I know that I am living right now in the spirit of happiness and in wholeness and happiness. I am looking through the eyes of happiness at the presence of wholeness and accepting it. I am looking through the eyes of happiness at the presence of wholeness and accepting it. I accept that God is love, and knowing that God is in all people, I meet this love which is everywhere. I accept that God is love. Well, if I accept that God is love and I accept that God is all there is, that means that everyone I meet is love, whether they are acting like it or not. So I accept that they are love. I hold the space that they are love. I hold the space until they recognize it themselves. Therefore, I love and am loved. Oh, wait. God is in all people. I meet this love which is everywhere. Therefore, I love and I am loved. Knowing that God is the great giver, I accept God's gift and do myself become a giver of life. Now, God is the great giver with the capital G. I become a giver with a lowercase g, because I am allowing what God is to flow through me. And that is my choice, and I allow as much of it to flow through me as I choose. How big do I want to, how much do I want to turn that faucet? All I have, I give, and all that God has, I receive. That's a choice. You give as much as you choose. You get as much as you choose. And the cool thing about it is with what you are letting flow through you, the more you give, the more that will flow through you. And I'm not talking about stuff, and I'm not talking about money. I mean, that's part of it. But I'm talking about who you are. That authentic child of God that you are. The kingdom of God is at hand today. I enter into it with joy. This kingdom contains all that brings to the life of good. It already exists. It already exists. Even if it may not exist in form yet, it is already an idea. And all we have to do is take the steps to bring it into form. and the Spirit will guide us. It contains all people and all things. Forever, the life of this kingdom flows through me in happiness and in peace and in love. All right, beloveds. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to accept that God is love and know that God is in all people. So we know that this love is everywhere. To accept that the kingdom exists right here, right now. To look with through the eyes of happiness at the presence of wholeness. To look with the eyes of happiness. So, that is our mission today, should we choose to accept it. And your other mission today, as I always suggest, do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Whatever that looks like. Be it big, be it small. Take care of yourself. Because you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. That is the state of grace that we live in. So you deserve your own loving, kind, and compassionate nature. And if you practice on yourself, you'll have more to give. You become that divine giver. Just by practicing loving, kind, and compassionate. Especially on yourself. All right, beloveds. I think we are on the last day of the weird weather that we're living through. Maybe. We almost saw the sun this morning, but not really. So be safe. Be safe with the weather. Stay as dry as you can, or go dance in the rain. You know, whatever makes you happy. Because that's important. If you want to go dance in the rain, go dance in the rain. Just not during the lightning. Just not during the lightning. But do something to engage your mind and your body. Go have some fun. Even if it's only 15 minutes. Or 20 minutes. Or the whole day. It's okay. All right? We have responsibilities. Yes, we will take care of our responsibilities. But we also deserve to have some fun. All right, beloveds. I am going to go and drink some water because I can hear it in my voice. So I encourage you, hydrate, drink some water. And if you haven't figured out, that is one of my ways of saying I love you. Drink some water. That's As You Wish from The Princess Bride. That was his way of saying I love you. Drink some water is mine. All right? So, do what you need to do to make it a good day, a fantastic day, a wonderful day. Or, if you need to, just have a day. All right? There's no pressure. All right? Okay, it is Tuesday. So, as far as I know, Reverend David will be on at around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you at 9 a.m. If you haven't checked out the Creative Life Spiritual Center YouTube channel, great. Please do that. And as always, these talks are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. You feel free to check that out. There's a year's worth of material on there. And I will see you tomorrow. All right? Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven now. The kingdom of God is at hand. It just takes your conscious awareness. Have a wonderful day, beloveds.